Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are safe, you are well, and you are with people you care about who also care for you. You might notice that I'm not outside. I'm not doing my usual chicken and garden tour of the garden, and that's for a really good reason. The weather right now in the Pacific Northwest is particularly hot. It's quite humid, but most importantly right now, we've got a lot of smoke from forest fires. I think Oregon and Washington are basically almost all on fire right now. I have friends and family who are up in the Spokane area who have been evacuated. Touch wood. Nothing like that has happened here where I live. But the wind has been pushing from the east to the west, and we've just had really bad air quality. Today, it's actually okay. It's only about 40 micrograms per cubic meter, which is much better than it was a couple of days ago, where it was up to 70 or 80. But it's still really unpleasant outside, and I am trying to look after myself. So I'm restricting the amount of time that I'm going outside. If I do go outside, I'm wearing a proper mask. And, you know, the dogs are going out for short periods of time, and I'm trying to do all my tasks outside in a really short period of time. And it brings back a lot of horrible feelings from 2020, when we had a lot of the forest fires up here then. And there was a couple of moments where the forest fires were within 10 miles of where we lived, and luckily we didn't have any here. But I live on a triangular lot that is surrounded on two sides by some pretty dense wooded areas. So, you know, if anything was to happen up here, that would be it for this house. So much so that were this house planned today, like if we were to submit a planning application on a previously unoccupied parcel of land for a design like our house, they would say no. Our house was effectively given legacy permission to be built when it was built, because there was a previous house from the 1920s that was built on this site. And so when our house was built in, I think, 2005, 2006, it was approved, but we just have to be very mindful about the risks. And it hits hard. I'm feeling gutted that I'm not outside doing chicken and garden, because there's so much that I can talk about. So my broccoli is finally starting to crown, and so I'm going to have real broccoli this year, which is wonderful because I've never grown broccoli that well. I might have some zucchini after all. I do have some celery coming. The raspberries are not doing well. The onions didn't do well. The beans and the peas did terribly, and they've kind of already disappeared. The strawberries are still hanging on, but even the tomatoes and the cucumbers, they are struggling this year because of the heat and because of the moisture, or lack thereof. And it's got me thinking a lot about how to prepare for future. How to prepare for the future living here, how to prepare for the future for everybody right now. You know, climate change is real. We caused it, us humans, and we are in a situation right now where things are probably going to get markedly worse before they get better. We know we've got El Nino coming this year, and they're predicting reduced rainfall in certain areas, increased heat. We live somewhere where there's no mains water where I live. So everything we get from a well in the ground, and we do have an underwater tank, but it is finite. Speaking to my neighbor the other day, and they were saying, yeah, there was a couple of times in the last 30 years where they ran out of water. And so I've been thinking about that a lot, and thinking about how would I plan my garden? How would I plan living here to make sure that that is something that, you know, is not, that that I'm not moving in the future because, you know, I can't live here anymore because it's inhospitable. I still want to be able to grow things here. Let me turn my monitor back on. Otherwise the lighting will disappear. I'm using my monitor as a light. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. So the lighting, the temperatures that we've got right now are becoming increasingly common. The water situation is becoming increasingly common. And we are at a point right now where I'm thinking about how we are going to move our garden and how we are going to plant things in the future. Now, I don't want to preempt some plans that I've been having with my beloved other half. But our good friend Bill, as I commented a couple of weeks back, was right. We're going to move our garden and we're going to try and plan a raised bed in a place that makes more sense and hopefully will be easier to irrigate. And I'm thinking about, okay, do I need to think about water capture? Do I need to design a tank system on the lowest point on our property so that we can capture a decent amount of rainwater? What would that look like? How would we pump the water back up? And also, what kind of crops are we going to grow? This part of the world is pretty good for growing garlic. Is it still going to be good for growing garlic? Just down the road from me, there's a lot of wineries and wine country. Is that going to change as temperatures change? I know people think of the Pacific Northwest as a rainforest because it is technically a very temperate rainforest. But, you know, the eastern part of my state is very dry and very hot already. Is that going to slowly creep towards us? And, you know, when you look out of your house in the morning or you drive down the road and you see smoke coming from Mount Hood, and you see smoke in the air from all of the local wildfires, it does kind of make you go, how am I going to garden in this? What's that going to look like? So I have been also worrying a lot about my chickens because right now their coop is outside. They don't have any protection from this smoke. Some of my birds are quite old. I keep going outside and expecting one of the birds to have died because I know she is the oldest hen and I know she's getting on and she's still hammering on. She still seems to be having a good quality of life. But how will the smoke affect her? And all of this, along with the crops that I've had limited success with this year because of just the reduced amount of water we've been able to put on them, have made me go, is it worth me still gardening? I think the answer is yes, but I just need to be cleverer about how I capture and use rainwater. So I guess today's kind of chicken and garden update is, holy cow, the world is changing and it's not looking good for us. How are we going to survive? And I'd love to know how all of you are doing that. You know, if you have a garden, if you have plants or crops that you are growing, how are you adjusting? I used to think drip irrigation was just the only way I was going to survive, but this year I've had limited success with drip irrigation, certainly in my greenhouse, because a lot of the water is just almost instantly evaporated. And again, I have a limited amount of water to use. So maybe I need to think about changing the under layers and put more structures in to hold water further down to keep my plants healthier for longer. That said, it's not all doom and gloom. Plenty of cucumbers right now, plenty of tomatoes, although some of them are wilting. And unlike last week where I was like, why won't you turn green? They've all turned red now. So it's pasta season. Tomato, pasta, whatever. I actually said tomato instead of tomato. My golly, don't worry, I'm not turning American. And the potatoes are still doing amazing things. So it's not all doom and gloom. And the raspberries this year and the blackberries, sorry, the blackberries, not the raspberries. The raspberries aren't doing well, but the blackberries are amazing. Really juicy, really good. So I want to know what, blackberry's secret is. I think it's just the fact that Pernicious little buggers, and they just keep going down until they find water. Anyway, tell me what's going on in your garden this week. Are you affected by this wildfire smoke? How have you mitigated the risks for your family and your animals and your garden? And do you have any tips on keeping things properly moist in future years? I'd love to know your ideas in the down below. Thanks for watching this far. I know it's been a bit rambly. But not being able to go out in the garden and show you things has been just the weirdest thing. I thought about doing something in the kitchen, with some of the tomatoes and some of the other things that we've been digging from the garden, including the potatoes and the parsnips, but also fruit from the trees. The apple trees are doing really well with their fruit this year. And me culling some of the fruit before they properly matured really helped keep the trees healthy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to the amazing folks scrolling by either side of me right now. They are the reason we are still doing this. Without these amazing folk, we wouldn't be doing what we were doing today. And I wouldn't have this house and I wouldn't have the channel. So thank you so very much if you've helped in the last couple of months. As you know, my beloved lost her job at the start of June, and thanks to you, we've actually been able to tread water a little. The money is slowly draining out of our bank account, but at a lower rate than I feared it would. So thank you. We should hear next week on one of the jobs she's applied for, so fingers crossed it's good news. Anyway, thanks for being the awesome, amazing change we need to see in the world. Tell the people in your life who are important to you that they are important to you. And I will see you this time next week, hopefully back in the garden. Keep evolving.